Hi guys, welcome to Nurse's Handbook, and today I'm going to share with you about the calculation of the heart rate from an ECG. So before I tell you about the calculation methods of heart rate, let us get a general idea about what the ECG paper is, what is the concept of the big square and the small squares in it. So here we have the ECG paper, and on this ECG paper we have a normal ECG rhythm. That is, it has got a P wave, a properly formed QRS complex and a T wave. So every ECG paper will have big squares as well as the small squares. So just see the big square carefully. You can see that it has got 5 small squares in it. So now look carefully in this ECG. In the yellow colored square is the big square, and in this big square we have 5 small squares. So now let us see its measurement. Each small square measures 1 mm. So what will be the measure of a big square? It will be 5 mm. I think the concept of big square and small square is clear to all. So now we are moving to the calculation of heart rate from the ECG. The first method is big square method. So the first step in the big square method is to identify two consecutive R waves. So we have identified the two consecutive R waves from this ECG. Now moving to the second step, that is count the number of big squares between the two R waves. So in between the two R waves we are having 4.2 big boxes. Now let us see the formula. So rate is equal to 300 by number of big squares. So we will be putting these values in the formula and we will be getting the answer 71.42. That means approximately the heart rate of the patient will be 71 beats per minute. So now let us see how this big square method is used to calculate the heart rate from the ECG. So here in the first example, when the number of large box is 1 between the two consecutive R waves, divide 300 by 1 and it gives us the answer 300 beats per minute. Now moving to the second example here, that is when there is two large boxes between two R waves, then divide 300 by 2, it will give us 150 beats per minute. Now coming to the third example, between R3 and R4 we are having three large boxes. So 300 divided by 3 will give us 100 beats per minute. Now moving to the fourth example, that is when there are four large boxes between the two R waves, then 300 is divided by 4, which gives us 75 beats per minute. Now moving to the last example, that is when there are 5 large boxes between the two consecutive R waves, 300 is divided by 5, which gives us 60 beats per minute. The second method of calculating the heart rate from the ECG is the small square method. So here we have the ECG and the first step is to identify two consecutive R waves, which we have also done in the big square method. The next step is to count the number of small squares between these two consecutive R waves. So here we have 22 small boxes between these two R waves. So now what is the formula? Here for calculating we will be dividing 1500 by number of the small squares. So from this ECG we got that we are having 22 small boxes. So putting it in the formula we get the answer 68.12, which means approximately the heart rate is 68 beats per minute. Now let us see how the small square method is used in calculating the heart rate from this ECG. So here in the first arrow between the two R waves, the number of small square is 5. So 1500 divided by 5 will give you 300 beats per minute. Now moving to the second example here, between these two R waves, we are having 10 small squares. So 1500 should be divided by 10 and it will give us 150 beats per minute. Now moving to the third example here. Here between the two R waves, the number of small squares is 15. So 1500 divided by 15 will give us 100 beats per minute. Our third method is the R wave method, and it is used for slow and irregular rhythms. especially in cases of atrial fibrillation, we use this method of calculating the heart rate. So here we have the ECG, and let us see what we do in the R-wave method. So firstly, we have to count the number of complete QRS complex in a 6-second strip, means the number of R waves appearing in the 30 large boxes. So then we will be putting it in the formula. The formula is number of R waves into 10. So from this strip we can see that we are having 6 R waves. So 6 into 10 is equal to 60 beats per minute. Thank you for watching. For more videos and updates like this, do like, share and subscribe to our channel Nurses Handbook. For any queries and doubts, please drop it in the comment box.